Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Anime Albert here, coming back at you with part 9 of What If Obito Got a Second Chance, otherwise known as The Work of Fate on Wattpad. And if you would like to read it for yourself or don't like the way that I narrate things, no harm, no foul. The link in the description, the top link, will bring you to the story, and you can read it for yourself. Or if you want to just read ahead because you don't like the pace I go at, sure, do that. Also, we made some socials. First and foremost, I made an Instagram, I made a Twitter. We already have a Discord. So if you guys want to join those things, the links will be in the description. I'll also tell you which link goes to which one. So I'd really appreciate it if you went over there on both Instagram and Twitter, as well as Discord, and supported me and the channel, because, you know, it'd just be really cool. Also, you'll get notifications, especially on Discord. Discord's what I'm most active on, so that's probably what you're going to want to join. But yeah, you get notifications ahead of time of when I record, what series I record. We're gonna be getting more. We're gonna start becoming more consistent, or at least I will start becoming more consistent with these videos. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So I'd really appreciate that. Also, I believe we're at 1,200 or something like that, which is insane to me. I don't really have a goal right now. I don't know what we're going for, but I guess 1,300. is the goal, so we're very close to that, and I really appreciate it if you guys that are watching the video would like, comment, and subscribe, as well as turn on post notifications. I would appreciate that greatly. I respond to all comments, I heart all comments, and I like all comments. Whenever I see them, I try my best not to miss them. So yeah, I know that this was a little all over the place for this intro, well, for this, but yeah, thanks for sticking with me, and without further ado, this is your boy, the Anime Ambu, and cue the intro, please.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hey. Special thank you to Bruh for real for making that intro. I appreciate it. If you were in the Discord, you would have known. Shameless plug. But if you were in the Discord, you would have known about the new intro. But yeah, can't do much about that now. But let's get right on into the video, okay? Minato's point of view. Kushina would be angry. After all, we had been up here for a long time. But that was simply the time it took for Obito to explain everything. And I was in shock. I couldn't do anything but sit there. I understood why Obito did it, I suppose. But it was a hard pill to swallow that the sweet and loving boy that I had known for years turned out like that. In the other timeline, anyways. I understand, but you must also understand that things aren't going to be the same from here on out. We're aware, but we need help. That's the reason you told me you needed help? With what? Because you have authority. You're well known and trusted. Yes, Minato, I'm beginning to forget everything from my life in the other timeline. At this, I was genuinely worried. Amnesia? No, it's a bit more complicated than that. Enlighten me. The changes made now affect my time. For example, when Danzo died, it started a domino effect. A lot of the mags that caused... What? A lot of the mags that he caused? A lot of them... I don't know. That he caused in the future simply don't happen. Thus, my memories of them are deteriorating. Oh, yes. It's quite complicated, huh? After that, the three of them together began to explain the so-called set and soft moments in time, using Orochimaru as the base for their set moments. It was a lot to keep track of. Time travel isn't quite at my level of expertise. You've all done a fair deal of research, huh? No, you don't need research to know your memories are disappearing. For the first time during this conversation, the tension was slightly lifted as I chuckled a bit at his answer. I wish I could, but I couldn't bring myself to trust him 100% yet. I had to be wary, but I also had to help them. I was just about to tell them we should head down, but then a white mass of a person began descending from the hardwood floor. Hello, I am back. What timing? Kakashi said dryly, looking at Obito, absolutely horrified. Well, Obito was looking absolutely horrified. Was this an enemy? I made a slow movement for my kunai, but Obito saw and assured me that it was a friend. I am Toby. I'm a good boy. Obito's point of view. I felt sick at that sentence. Who taught him that? I wonder if Shido did it. Minato, this is one of the creatures I explained, a Zetsu. A strange smile was forming on Minato's face. Nice to meet you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going downstairs. As we expected, he had enough for a day. Minato's point of view. Sure took you long enough, Kushina said while checking the oven. Oh well, if the food wasn't ready, it meant that we hadn't been gone as long as I had feared. Well, yes, the kids had something a bit personal to tell me, I said, glancing at the still tense Obito. Suddenly, it felt weird categorizing him as a kid, knowing now that he was much older than me and Kushina. You kids alright? She said and bent her back to look at them. At the exact time, Obito's act went back up. Yeah, it's nothing. He grinned. Is it wrong for me to feel this way? To feel that I need to be so careful around this man-child. After all, he explained it to me, and with all the things he went through in his time, the way he turned out is understandable. But I'm still not sure. Kushina definitely had a worried look on her face, but just decided to go back to her cooking. And I wanted to tell her everything and ask her for help. Don't get me wrong, I'm a grown man that can go off against half an army alone. So it's not that I want her to take up arms with me. It's just great to have someone to talk to about the problems you have to go through every day. As I began thinking more about our conversation upstairs, I couldn't help to smile that spread on my lips. Naruto. Definitely a rare name, but I like it. And I'm sure Kushina would as well. I haven't even met the kid yet. I only knew his name and a few characteristics from what Obito tells me. And yet, I feel quite happy. Maybe even proud of this future son of mine. What's with you? Kushina asked through a giggle. Huh? You seem kind of happy, and yet down in the dumpster at the same time. Well, you see, I turned and glanced at Obito. Ren and Kakashi, who were having their own conversation, I let out an amused sound and continued. Those three are quite special. Well, yeah, but we didn't know. But didn't we already know that? Kushina countered me with a laugh. Yes, don't mind me. I'm just rambling. Shall I help you with dinner? I thought you'd never ask. Alright. That's the end of this chapter. Okay, guys. Looks like we have an ad break. So, instead of cutting right here, because I'm cutting at, what's going to be 29. Instead of cutting right here, because we've only been going for like 3-4 minutes. First and foremost, this is your water break. Alright, drink your water. Hydrate yourself, take care of yourselves, go outside. It's almost summertime. I think it's spring. Go outside, enjoy the air. I know I probably will this afternoon. Go outside. So just enjoy the day. Don't waste today, alright? Don't forget to hydrate yourselves and drink your water. Take care of your bodies, guys, okay? And without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Once I can. Alright, let's continue. This is highly disturbing, I said, staring out into the big room filled with empty containers, with shattered glass that was emitting a green, almost toxic glow. Obito didn't know the exact hideout Tenzo was left in, so we were currently checking 1 out of 3, and the only one it could possibly be, of the only ones that could possibly be. We had already checked the 2 other hideouts without success. What was he doing here, I asked. More to myself than anyone else, to think Orochimaru played us like this, doing this behind our backs. You already know, human experiments. Name any kind, and he did it, Obito told me. Yes, I did know. I had read a report given to me by the 3rd Hokage when asking for permission and scouting the areas where we knew Orochimaru had done suspicious work. In truth, I didn't like this. It was true that we were trying to save a little kid's life, a kid that would apparently grow up to become a big asset to our village. But I had lied to the Hokage, telling him we were only scouting the areas for clues of where Orochimaru could have gone, not investigating one of his laboratories. Well, I don't think he's here, I said. I was worried a child left in a place such as this couldn't last very long, so it was important to find him fast. Orochimaru's smart and sly. He's a snake. He doesn't leave all his best toys out in the open. Orochimaru said calmly, started to glide his hand over the wall to my right. Please be a secret door, please be a secret door, he frantically whispered, and when one of the bricks was pushed deeper into the wall, a hole appeared in the wall, forming a door. Obito's reaction being, yay! And without further ado, Obito walked through the new entrance. From From where I was standing, I couldn't see what was inside, but Obito's reaction made my eyes very clearly reach my ears very clearly. My fault. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! I currently held an unconscious and very cold little boy that Obito had confirmed to be the one we were looking for. He had been hidden behind the secret door, and the reason for Obito's outburst was the state the poor boy was in. He had been laying in a broken container, only half pulled up with liquid. Okay. And he was surrounded by broken glass that seemed to have been part of the container. He was whimpering due to the cold and being out of the liquid that I hoped was water. It's gonna be okay, we got you, he said, and brought him closer to me in an effort to give him some more. He's just very unnourished and dehydrated. We need to get him back to the village hospital. He needs an IV, Rin said. She had been checking. Oh, Rin said. I thought Minato said. My fault. He's just very unnourished and dehydrated. We need to get him back to the village hospital. He needs an IV, Rin said. She had been checking him over for injuries and what else since we found him. Though it wasn't good, I was relieved that he wasn't hurt, especially with all the glass shards he had been laying around. Then, let's do that. Honestly, I can't wait to get out of here, Kakashi said, and I'm sure we all thought the same. Maybe with the exception of Obito. We had made it back to the Leaf, and I was alone in the Hokage's office. Well, the Hokage was obviously here too, so not all alone. The boy does not seem to belong to Konoha. We must find out if he has family in nearby villages. He should wake up soon. Maybe he'll know. Yes, perhaps. Then there was a moment of silence. Lord Hokage, I do have to ask, what will happen to him if he doesn't have any relatives to return to? Of course, I knew he didn't. Obito had made that clear. Then I will take responsibility for my students' actions and let the boy stay in the village. If that's alone, or with somebody who will take him in, only time can tell. I smiled at that. The third Hokage had always been very kind, even to outsiders, who many others did not like. Minato, I have to ask, how did you even find him? You were only on a scouting patrol, were you not? Yes, my apologies. One of my students, Obito in particular, fell into the hideout through the broken opening. We only realized it was Orochimaru's once we went down to help him. Could he not get out himself? He asked, sounding genuinely worried that Obito had hurt himself in the fall. Yes, he could, but he had noticed the boy, so we went down to help him get the boy out and examine. Hiruzen looked skeptical of me for a few seconds, because that excuse was pretty trash, making me very uncomfortable, but it quickly changed into a warm smile. Well done, Minato, well done indeed, he said and lit up his pipe. Alright, so this is actually where we're going to cut to a commercial break. Not commercial break, more like an intermission or like a 6-second break. For you guys, it's gonna be like 5, 6 seconds. You know, it's gonna be short. For me, I don't know, maybe like 2 seconds. I don't know, guys. Listen, either way, we're gonna cut right here. So I'll see you on the other side. Without further ado, let's wrap up this episode, okay? Third person's point of view. Ah! It was an ear-piercing scream, one you'd perhaps hear in the midst of battle, but this scream came from little Tenzo's room. Team 7 knew better than to rush into the room, as that would probably just make it worse. They'd leave this to the nurses, who had already gone into the room with whatever tools they needed to make tests. It's the trauma, isn't it? Rin said, and gently pulled on Obito's sleeve to get his attention. He looked at her, and to see her saddened look. She wished she could help. That's what she always wanted to do. Therefore, she had become a medic. But this time, she couldn't do anything. Yeah, we just need to have patience. Hello, my name is Minato Namikaze. We're very glad to officially meet you, Minato said, standing by the end of Tenzo's bed. Tenzo looked to be a bit drowsy, but he clearly followed along with the conversation. These are my students. Rin Nohara, Kakashi Hatake, and the one with the big scars is Obito. Minato said, pointing to Rin and Kakashi. However, Obito stood a little further away, so he just described him. What? I'm not sure. The outcome being that Obito gave Minato a very unappreciative look. Hi, I'd introduce myself, but I don't know my name, Tenzo said kindly with a tiny bit of shyness. It's Tenzo. We found it in a folder made by Orochimaru, Obito said while looking up towards the ceiling. Tenzo? 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 He tried saying it, checking how it sounded coming from his own lips. He lit up, even if it was just a little. That sounds right. Obito couldn't help but smile at the child's innocence. Despite what he'd been through, it was a very difficult experience. It was a very different experience than what Zetsu had reported it to be in the original timeline. Then again, back there, he was found by Danzo, was probably not greeted very kindly. So, we'll call you that from now on, if you don't mind. Yes, I'd like that. Minato smiled softly at the boy. Tenzo, you said you didn't know your name. Do you remember anything at all? Minato questioned a bit more seriously, as it was a serious topic. No, I only remember my life in the laboratory. Nothing before that. I see. Maybe your memories will come back. We can always hope. But if not, then we've made sure you can stay in Konoha and be able to call it home. Tenzo looked taken aback by this next level expression of kindness. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, but to make sure you're well, we'll have you live with a roommate. Kakashi, Rin, and Obito hadn't heard of this, so it shocked them a little. In fact, we've already picked out the one you're staying with, Minato said and made his way around Rin and Kakashi and then towards Obito, whose face became more and more terrified the more steps Minato took. Unfortunately for Obito, Minato stopped and put his hand on his shoulder, using the other hand to gesture to him. He looks a bit scary, but truly he's as soft as a marshmallow. I also believe Obito can help you control your powers that you've obtained due to the experiments. Tenzo seemed a bit shocked as well, probably mostly because of the talk of powers. What powers? He thought to himself, but decided to let the matter be for now. I'll be looking forward to it then, Tenzo said and smiled to Obito, who awkwardly smiled back and whispered so only Minato could hear. I know I said I've changed, but I'm having an unhealthy urge to kill you for this. Though he did say it with a tone so Minato knew he truly didn't mean it. And just that he was angry at it. So Minato just laughed it off, patted him on the shoulder a couple of times, and went back to the foot of Tenzo's bed. You selfish, dumb, irresponsible, incompetent, mad fool! Obito chanted, but while he chanted insults at Minato himself, Kakashi and Rin were laughing at his reaction. Now, you've really broken my heart calling me dumb, Minato said sarcastically while clutching his vest where his heart was. Obito, on the other hand, had lost all emotion. He was so tired. I need a beer. Where's the nearest bar? He said and turned around, walking to the exit. You know you're stuck in a 14-year-old body. They won't give you beer. Obito stopped at once, taking Rin's words to heart. He then folded his hands and looked up, almost like he was playing. 6 years. Only 6 more years. Yes, that's true. Tell you what, I'll give you a beer when you finally turn 20. Minato said, I turned 20 12 years ago. When this body turns 20 then. Okay. So, apparently, and this is the author's note, 6 years, because 20 is the legal drinking age in Japan. So, yeah. If you didn't know that, because I personally didn't. To be honest, I didn't know that. There's an advertisement. Alright, guys. I guess we're gonna go with another water break. Let me think of something to talk about. Alright, well, we'll talk about me a little bit. So, I cracked my phone screen the other day. It's pretty tough. I took my case off, and then it was in the bathroom, and I knocked it off the counter, and face down, boom! And now my screen's all cracked. So, I hope it doesn't sound weird, because I don't know what internal damage I did to my phone, but yeah, it's not very good. So that's, yeah, I guess. Don't forget to drink your water. Let's get right back on into the video, okay? Sorry I'm all over the place this video. It's been a little minute since I recorded. Most of the videos I posted until now were pre-recorded, so I haven't really recorded in a while. Let's continue though. I opened the door to my home, picked up the box with Tenzo's things we'd collected for him, and walked into the house, quickly followed by him. The box was mostly filled with new comfortable clothes, a few medications, and a mask that had caught Tenzo's eye when they were walking to the house. Tenzo hadn't asked for it, but Obito could see that he liked it and genuinely wanted to buy it for him. "This is a big house," Tenzo said, and he did a 360-degree turn to look all around him. "Yeah, it's been my family's home for a long time, though as of right now, I'm the only one." Well, no. Now that you're my... Binging? Now that you're my binging? What the heck is that? Bing in? I don't know. "Now that you're here, I suppose I won't be all alone anymore," Obito said and smiled brightly at the little boy. I'm glad I won't be alone either," Tenzo said and tried to imitate Obito's smile. I opened the door to an unused room with my foot as I was still carrying the boxes with Tenzo's few belongings. This room had always been a guest room, but I never really had many guests, so the room mostly stood empty. Luckily, I hadn't moved anything out, and there were still a few drawers, a bedside table with a lamp, a few shelves, and a comfy bed. "This will be your room now, Tenzo," I said and walked in to put the box on the bed. "This entire room?" It was sweet, but at the same time very sad to see Tenzo so amazed by a normal room. It was easy to forget that he had lived most of his life in a glass container, with only just enough room to move. Poor kid. "Of course, and listen, if you want anything like new sheets, new wallpapers, or anything of the sort, don't hesitate to say so. We can easily go out and buy it. I'm not short on money," I said, giving him a wink and a thumbs up. For a few seconds, he just seemed shocked, but quickly it morphed into clear happiness. "Thank you," he said and grinned as well as he could. Fugaku's point of view. I had wanted to check up on Obito for quite some time now. Minato had returned the scrolls he had borrowed, but had seemed in a hurry, so he hadn't told me what he'd figure out. To be frank, I'd also rather hear from Obito than from his sensei. I knocked on his door twice and awaited an answer. I soon heard footsteps running on the other side of the door, so the door was quietly open. At first, he just peeked out, but once he saw it was me the food opened up fully. I don't know what that meant. "Lord Fugaku, how can I help you on this fine evening?" Trying to sound polite, are you? That's quite new. Even I can throw a few insults once in a while. Obito poured at my comment, but stayed quiet. "Don't worry, I won't stay. I've come to request that you come for a meeting at my house tomorrow morning." Well, I actually have a team meeting tomorrow morning, so could I? Did I stutter? "No, sir. I'll be there, sir." "At 8 then. Please try not to be late." I sighed since I was far too aware of his foolish antics. I could only hope he'd take this seriously. "Yes, sir." "Good. Now have a good evening, you and your visitor," I said and started walking away at once before he could question how I knew he had a visitor. "Obito," I deadpanned and slammed the door shut. Just as I thought I was out of the woods with this, Sharingan dilemma. "Does that man scare you?" Tenzo asked as he approached me from the stairs. I could see why a child would think so. No, he doesn't scare me. I just have to be very polite around him. You see, he's my clan leader. That's a very high rank that those of that and other clans treat with high respect. I see, Tenzo said and stroked his cheek. He was definitely trying to remember all the important facts of the village he knew would be his home. Alright, Minato's point of view. Okay, Minato's point of view. What did you just say? I asked my wife to repeat herself. I said I'm pregnant. We're going to be parents. She laughed oh so brightly and leaped into my arms. I also laughed of pure happiness. I'm going to be a father, and I'm going to be a mother. It's strange. I know what gender the child will be, what he'll grow up to be like, how he'll look, and what we'll name him. Yet, I couldn't imagine myself being more excited. After all, this time, we'll get to be there as he grows up. That'll probably cause a change. Let's check what chapter we're in. We're in chapter 39 now. and there are 58 chapters. We're almost done. Alright, but listen, this is where I'm going to end this part off. It should be like a 20-some odd minute video. I'm not sure how long it's going to be per, like specifically. Maybe I'll do a longer video next time. I don't know. I might. To be honest, I got a really bad headache, so recording this one was a bit of a stretch. But, you know, I have no more pre-recorded videos. I haven't posted in a while. I really needed to make a video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm sorry if this one had a bit of rambling, if it was a little off topic, or if I just, I don't know, wasn't very uniform. This is by no means a perfect video. But I hope you guys enjoy it nevertheless, and I hope you guys look forward to consistency coming back to the channel, hopefully, preferably. But yeah, so with that out of the way, like, comment, subscribe. Instagram link in the description, Twitter link in the description, Discord link in the description, story link in the description. Check the video description, please, for any links to anything that's of importance or that's relevant. And yeah, so without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. I respond to all comments, heart all comments. I respond to all comments. I think I said that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just try my best to look for the comments. And yeah. So without further ado, this is your boy, the Anime Ambu, and I am out. Have a good one. And deuces.